everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this floral any occasion card using Daisy Meadows scrapbooking stamp and thin cuts. And then I'm going to use the leaf stamp from Florals and Flutters. So let's get started. I'm going to cut a piece of white daisy at 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and I'm going to stamp out this flower image on some low tack masking paper from Judikins. This you can get on Amazon, and it creates a mask so that you can stamp images and then they look like they are behind the flower. So I'm fussy cutting this out even though I have a coordinating thin cut for this image because I want my cut line to be right up against that stamped line. Okay, so let's get started. I have the leaf image and this flower and then a smaller solid flower image, and I'm going to random stamp these in black ink all over this white daisy panel. So I'm using this leaf image that's from Florals and Flutters because it's a line image rather than solid, and that way I can use this solid flower. I want a black and white background, and I want looser drawn images rather than solid images. But you could use the, there's a similar leaf image that's in the Daisy Meadows scrapbooking set. You could use that one and then just not use the solid flower image. It's up to you. So I'm going to random stamp these all over this panel and just keep going until it's covered. And make sure that when you stamp some images that you stamp off the edges, and that's why I have the scratch paper behind my white daisy cardstock. Stamping off the edge lends to the randomness of the pattern. And then I'll just keep moving my mask around so that I can stamp the leaves and make it look like they're behind my flower. I'll just keep going until I have everything covered, or a good amount of stamped images on this panel. And you can use your mask several times before it actually becomes too saturated to use anymore. So I'll get a couple of panels out of this using just that one mask. Okay, so there's my patterned paper background. And now I'm going to stamp out this larger floral image, and I'm going to heat emboss this in gold. So I'm going to stamp it out using Versamark ink. And then I'm going to add some extra embossing ink using the embossing ink pen right around the center of that floral image so that I can have some more gold embossing powder in that area. And then I'll just sprinkle my embossing powder over my image and tap off the excess. Okay, so now I'm going to hit it with the heat tool and melt all of that embossing powder. Okay, so off screen, I'm going to color this image in and then cut it out with the coordinating thin cut. So I did the same thing for another flower. So the pattern that I'm going to use today is pattern number 20, and it's from Make It From Your Heart Volume 4, and I'm doing a loose interpretation of this pattern. Just kind of going to use it as a guide to design the card. So my base is going to be black cardstock, and I realized that I cut it wrong the first time, so it's the A2 size card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I'm going to double mat it. So I'm going to use coordinating colors. So for the one that I colored in blue or turquoise, I'm going to use peacock. And then for the pink flower, I'm going to use raspberry. So I'm cutting these at 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. And then I'm going to cut a piece according to the pattern at 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/2. So these are my coordinating colors in peacock and raspberry. And I'm going to bring my big shot in. So I'm using an older retired embossing folder because I don't have the new floral embossing folder that's in the core catalog. So you can certainly use the new one. I just grabbed this floral one that's retired to emboss my 2 strips of colored paper. And I'm going to bring in a piece of gold glitter paper and cut this at 3/4 of an inch by 3 1/2 inches. And I'll be dovetailing one end of this strip. So those one for each card. So I'm cutting 2. And I'll dovetail the ends. Okay. So the easiest way to dovetail is to snip in the center and then take each corner to that center snip. So snip in the center and take each corner to that center snip. And then you have your hand-cut dovetailed pieces. Now we can start building our card. So this is going to be landscape with the fold at the top, and just going to put everything down with Tombow. I'm going to pop the flower. So that's where the dimension is going to be on the card. So then I'll add my colored cardstock and leave that black border. And then I'll add my stamped piece and leave another border. So now I'm going to take this embossed strip. I'm going to place that down and leave about 1/2 an inch of white below it. Now I'm going to add some shimmer trim. This is black glitter shimmer trim, and it's self-adhesive. So I'll just place that down above the strip of peacock cardstock, and then I'll just trim off the excess off the edges. Okay. And then I'll add that strip of glitter paper. And I'm going to pop my flower using the extra foam tape from making shaker cards. You get extra. And the last step, I'm going to add some of these Daisy Meadows dots. And then there's my finished card. Have some close-up shots here. And then I'll take you through the assembly of the pink one. And it's the same thing. I'll show you all the steps again quickly. So this design, I left a sentiment off so that I can put whatever sentiment I want on the inside of the card. So this design would be great for like a set of cards. If you want to do a gift, you can put together a set and just color in your flower and coordinate cardstock colors with whatever color you decide to do your flower. So you can do lemonade with a yellow flower and peach with the coral color, whatever you want. You can make several and just choose your cardstock to match. I think it turned out pretty. So all of these supplies are currently available in my online store. I will make a list with links in the description below. And I'll put a link for the embossing folder that's currently available rather than the one that's retired. So I appreciate you watching my video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And there's both cards together. And thanks for watching.